Hello, and a very warm welcome to our channel. This video, we give you a piece of breaking news from National Enquirer magazine, Harry's hair loss horror. Image-obsessed Meghan pushing him to get it back. Hollywood transplant Prince Harry is losing his conscious wife Meghan, who is pushing him to do whatever it takes to get it back. Sources spilled to the National Enquirer that Meghan has Harry so self-conscious about the ever-expanding dome that he hates to even leave the house without a cap to cover it. The source dished, Meghan's all about appearances, so when she sees Harry's hair coming out in clumps, she wants him to do something about it before it's too late. According to sources, the increasingly hairless Duke of Sussex and Duchess Meghan are surrounding themselves with Hollywood A-listers to help her relaunch her acting career and make him a player in the industry, and she wants her prince to look the part as well. But insiders said her constant reminders that he will look like his balding dad, Prince Charles, before he's even 40 have made him incredibly insecure. Male pattern baldness runs through his royal blood. Just look at his grandfather, Prince Philip, and his uncle Edward. But Harry's too proud to let that happen. He's also tired of being the laughingstock of the British press for his rapid hair loss. He's ready to do something about it. Sources said he is so distressed over his tresses he's already getting advice from his new Hollywood pals about transplants or plugs to save his mane. Fortunately, he's come to image-conscious Los Angeles, which boasts the best surgeons and dermatologists in the world, the source spilled. Harry's amazed at the success of some of his celebrity pals have had to restore their hair and have been getting tips on the best doctors and procedures available. He's been told it could cost upwards of $20,000, but with Meghan pushing him, Harry's already spent the money in his mind. Meanwhile, discussed Meghan Markle has accused a UK tabloid as being vicious in their move to identify the 5 friends who spoke to People magazine anonymously on her behalf last year about the contents of the private letter she sent her father. Royal expert Angela Levin shared frankly on Daily Express that Meghan is the victim of her own PR game. She said, "I love this question. It is surprisingly layered and produced the usual crazy answers." She continues, "I love the answers from Meghanites claiming that the evil newspaper is picking on the righteous woman and mother, or whatever virtue-signaling moniker they choose. Just completely discount the facts. Meghan launched this legal suit against all top legal advice on an issue no one cared about. It was advised that the 5 friends, whom it turns out were referred to the magazine by Meghan's own PR, hence the friends tag, would be made public. Then it was referred to mediation, which Meghan turned down. Fair play, she wants her day in court with no regard to the 5, which rich privileged people spending other people's money are entitled to do. These 5 were always going to be dragged into the issue. There was no way that they couldn't. Remember, Meghan's lawsuit has had rulings against it and knocked back at every stage. Now she and her team are desperate. The royal household advised them not to do it, that the current mess would be how it would play out. As with the trademark applications, the use of royal, the subsequent tantrum against the Queen saying she doesn't own the use of royal, 1883 International Treaty, HRH freeloading, illegal charity structure, illegal foundation structure, it appears that the management is completely woeful and lacking, going from disaster to disaster. So many oops, this is just a continuation of the trend. Miss Levin went on, they have lost at every stage in this particular legal proceeding, and the legal experts who are reviewing the case are saying that the legal team advising Meghan are either giving really terrible advice or not being listened to. To absolutely answer this question, the labeling by Meghan's team of vicious to name the 5 friends is just patently absurd. It was called out before the suit went to court that this would happen, and that you couldn't control the outcome or even what the friends would say. After all, there is a huge difference between doing an interview and giving the preset talking points and then being dragged into a pointless court case in Britain with someone who isn't really your friend. Then they have to put up with the hate from social media. Miss Levin continues to warn, is it just the case that the true reason behind the suit is the whole PR aspect and the ability to form a narrative that is more of a PR strategy? Strangely, this was part of a proposed storyline on Suits that Sach was advising on, the same agency that is making a fortune from Meghan in handling her never-ending crises. It fulfills the us versus them narrative, which has constantly been playing and is straight from the playbook of Sach. It's been on their blogs and talks. It is allowing for the truly absurd narrative that the couple is billion-dollar brand, i.e., in the court-filed papers they claim that they generated more than $1 billion for the UK, etc. That narrative had previously never gotten any traction despite being said in multiple interviews, but has now been widely reported with those headlines. It affects the search results and rankings of the couple. The whole fake it to make it. It is quite brilliant from a PR perspective, as rather than laughing because it is part of a court document, it is quoted and turned into a headline. Remember, Kylie Jenner is still thought of as being a billionaire despite that being fraud. From a PR perspective, she now absolutely needs to be seen to protect the five who can now turn on her, both legally and professionally. While they are clearly being used, it has gone to completely take the piss. British slang. It seems to be forgotten that the article was a massive puff piece that was PR coordinated with Meghan's team giving the names of people to interview for the piece. Heck, 2 of them were Sunshine Sach's clients. This is why it was so coordinated with the same message from the 5. Don't be stupid and ask yourself why it was an amazingly high number of people that had knowledge of the contents of the supposedly private letter, and they were so close friends. Really, the only surprise was it didn't include her waxer, makeup artist, and cleaners. Or maybe that's because they work for a living unlike freeloader Harry. Perhaps she really is a victim of greedy PR, legal, management, who are milking them, sorry, others' money dry. If so, then please explain how a couple with only 1 child and claim to be against white privilege and climate change live in a house like this. So a privileged woman living off a rich privileged white man and his family launches a lawsuit throughout 5 colleagues under a bus for doing her a solid, then calls people trying to publish their names vicious. What is vicious is once published, then the 5 are able to make their own money through the paid interviews and books. Oops, exactly what the royal household PR teams and legal teams warned will happen. And Miss Levin concludes, this lawsuit has very little chance of success. Really a narrow possible view of letter ownership. A letter was given to someone, and to claim that the letter is not the property of the receiver, which is quite crazy, well, just quite crazy. Meanwhile, cold Meghan Markle shut down marriage to ex-Trevor Engelson, claims former pal. Meghan's estranged best friend, Inaki Pretty, knew Meghan from the age of 2 and has now shed light on her first marriage to a Hollywood producer. Prince Harry's wife reportedly had a falling out with child friend Inaki Pretty, and later cut her out of her life. The pair had known each other since the age of 2 and were famously pictured together outside Buckingham Palace during a childhood holiday to the UK. They also went on road trips together across the US and slept over at each other's houses multiple times. But Ninaki claims their friendship came to an abrupt end after the Suits actress divorced her previous husband, Hollywood producer Trevor Engelson, in 2013. Meghan Markle's former pal has claimed the Duchess of Sussex was a cold wife to her former husband, Trevor Engelson. Ninaki said after going to see Trevor a month after the end of their marriage, she felt Meghan's ex-husband had the rug pulled out from under him. She claimed Meghan was calculated in how she handled people and relationships. Ninaki added, "She is very strategic in the way she cultivates circles of friends. Once she decides you're not part of her life, she can be very cold." Recalling the first wedding, she told the Daily Mail, "Meg literally shone with happiness. We'd been like sisters since we were 2 years old, so I knew she'd always wanted to get married." To see her finally doing that was, well, it was a big deal. It was such a moving wedding. I started crying the moment I saw her in her dress. Describing how supportive Trevor had traveled back and forth from his home in Los Angeles to Toronto, where Meghan was filming her hit show Suits. She said the pair fell out because she disapproved of the way the actress ended her marriage. She went on, "The person I knew is not there anymore. Meg used to tell me she couldn't imagine a life without Trevor. She said if anything were to happen to him, she wouldn't be able to go on. He cherished her too. You should have seen the way he used to hold her face in his hands. We all felt he was her eternal love. It was such a shock when she told me they were getting a divorce." Right? Do you agree with her views? Please tell me your opinion in the comment section below, and we can discuss together. Remember to like and share my video for anyone you think might also be interested, and subscribe to our channel to get more news from the royal family by our team. Now, have a nice day, and see you in the next videos.
Meghan and Harry are under a lot of stress during the economic crisis, affecting Harry's blonde hair, when he 24/7 thinks about his work to be done in the future to reduce financial difficulties. The quarrel of Meghan and Harry on the subject of hair. Meghan blamed Harry for not knowing how to take care of herself, making his head bald out of aesthetics.